Live from the ValdostaHomeSales.com studios, it is The Running Theory with Rick and Rob. Hello, hello.
Hey, Rob.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Loud and clear?
Crystal clear. Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Good deal. Hey, we're back.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
It went dead, but now I can hear you, I think. Yeah. Got a little static in the line.
Okay. We're working on
We're
it.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Well, what's up? Tell me what's up.
Man, it's all good. We missed each other yesterday.
Well, 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard after 4th of July.
It was tough. I tell you, I was tired. I was very tired yesterday. So when you didn't call and I didn't call you, I was kind of like, well, it's all good.
Well, we've run enough that I think we know when.
Yeah.
When to say when.
Man, it was just one of those times I was just so tired Saturday night. And then yesterday I just said I needed a break. So I didn't run at all yesterday. And I went out and ran today. I told you I ran 5 miles today. And, God, it was blazing out there. I mean, it was only 77 degrees, but it was 90% humidity.
Oh, yeah. I went out at 6, and we did almost 4, and I was drenched all the way through.
Oh, my goodness. Holy cow.
And I wasn't running fast. I was running rather slow.
Hey, you got it in, though, so that's good.
But, yeah, yesterday I was just whooped. I got up. I went and actually this weekend I signed up for the Independence Day virtual 5K.
I need to do that.
Lowndes LHS was having, and so I went out Saturday at 6 and I ran it, which it wasn't fast.
Oh, I've missed the boat on that then.
Yeah, you've missed the boat.
Okay, well,
next
year.
But you can sign up for the Charlie Strong virtual one. That's
Yeah.
coming up. It's coming up in the next week or so.
You know, I hate that because I was out running thinking about I need to run that virtual 5K, and I missed it. But
well, there's always next year. I'm sure they can still have a donation, though.
Okay, all right, well, I'll take a look at it.
But I went out and ran it, and I wasn't trying to run it too fast, just a little up-tempo.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to,
No PR.
No, I wasn't ready to knock it out of the park, so I just ran. I tried to stay a steady 9-minute pace and just run it.
Well, good. Yeah, that sounds good.
I ran it.
That's all you need right now.
Yeah, exactly 27, 28 minutes. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun. I posted my results. They posted the results today. The winner was, what was his name? He's Martha Mazurkowitz's son-in-law won the race. He ran like a 16:20 something.
Wow.
So
that was
no,
smoking.
17:20 something. So he
still
was
smoking. Yeah, that's moving.
I wouldn't beat him in a real race. So
yeah, he's quite a runner. That just kind of runs in that group, that family, right?
Yeah,
everybody runs.
Yeah, it's probably one of the prerequisites to be.
Yeah,
in the
I
family.
think so. You can't marry in unless you're a fast runner.
But took yesterday off because, like I said, I got up at 4 and started cooking for 4th of July, which usually I have a 4th of July party. Which
I kept waiting for the notification, but I didn't see it.
Well, you know what? With COVID, I want to invite people over, but then I don't want to be the one on WALB that this guy had a party and 18 people ended up with COVID.
That's right. Yeah,
so
the spike in Valdosta because this one guy invited everybody over.
But we've had some parties in the past, and hopefully we can be able to get back to it next year.
You do a great party. It's always fun. We'll run Peachtree, and then we'll drive home and come to your party. So,
but it was a little disappointing not having a party. So we just had family over, and that was fun too.
Sounds nice. Yeah.
And it rained a little bit, but the kids were able to get in the pool, and
Yeah, it's unusual for me because we worked the whole Saturday, so it just didn't seem like much of a 4th of July. We got off and just didn't really do much. We saw some fireworks kind of off in the distance, and kind of heard them go off throughout the night. But, it's just a good day.
Usually you would be at Peachtree Road Racing, but Peachtree is not. It's going to be run on Thanksgiving this year.
Man, we'll talk about this with our guest today, but, man, I really miss Peachtree. I mean, that's what I've been doing this would have been my 11th or 12th year. I can't remember, but every year, I'm really in with a Tifton running group there, and that's a thing we all do. We all do Peachtree. So, we missed it. And hey, I felt like I could have been ready this year. I've
Yeah.
been more ready than I've been in years past.
Yeah, because this is the first year. I mean, this is the year that you've actually run some decent mileage.
I've kind of picked it back up again. Yeah, so I felt like
Even
I
when you weren't
redeemed
running,
myself a little bit.
Even when you weren't running, you were still racing Peachtree.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And I posted some pretty bad times, but I made it.
And I have a person asking how were my new Hokas, and my Hokas got the Hoka Rokinon, and I bought them from Chris Phillips over in Albany at Wildside Running when he was out here at Freedom Park.
Yeah,
and he had a deal on the Hokas of $95, which usually a Hoka is going to cost you $135 to $150.
Oh, good deal, yeah.
So $95, and they're very good. I like them
Good.
a lot. They are kind of like my Cliftons, but they are way less, and I don't think they're quite as stacked, but they're still like super stacked. Like it's like running on a cloud.
you're kind of a neutral runner, is that right?
I'm neutral to pronator. I mean, I wear neutral shoes mostly because I can just deal with it. But if I buy different shoes. I like wear pronation shoes, and then I wear neutral shoes. I try to keep them flip flopped.
I may have to try that out. Those Hokas, I've heard a lot about them, and people tend to like them. So
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
love
give
them.
them a shot.
I love them. At first, I remember people used to make fun of me. They were like, "You can't wear those shoes." This was when their Hokas were first coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these shoes, once you wear them, you won't go back. And now a lot of the people who are naysayers are wearing Hokas.
Well, they've gained some recognition here lately, and it seems like Hoka is kind of just a shoe that everybody looks at now. They didn't used to,
Yeah.
but
I mean, because I remember we were training for Albany, and my feet were really starting to hurt towards probably week 13, and it got to a point where I don't know if I can run this race. And then I got me a pair of the Bondis, which are the super stacked. I mean, they look like elevator shoes. But I started wearing those the last 3 weeks and wear them throughout the race, and I was fine. So, I mean, I swear by them. I've been to, foot doctors and orthopedics, and they all recommend the Hokas.
so you've ran
Which
three different models.
they're not runners, so they don't know which models to wear. They're just,
right.
they're
yeah.
just like, wear Hokas.
So you've ran in 3 different models.
Yeah, I ran in, at least 3.
That's pretty good.
But
give 'em
I
a
like
shot.
I like the Bondis. The Bondis are the super stacks, like this.
Yeah.
And then you have the Clifton, which is a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
And then the Rokinon is smaller. And then I actually worn the Hupana, which is like the racing flat. And so I've worn it, and then I've worn the Poly. So I could go on and on.
You're kind of sold on Hoka.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
good.
I wear the Saucony. I like the ride and the guide, but
Yeah.
if I'll buy those if they're on sale.
When you a
because I'm
Pega-
cheap.
Wasn't you a Nike Pegasus guy for a while?
I loved it. The Nike Pegasus were good, and I like the Nike Pegasus and the Varoom, but they, just like all,
yeah,
shoe
they make a great
companies,
model
they
for a
make-
while and they change.
They
it.
make it, and then they went, just went completely different. They started doing some like stuff with their insoles, I guess, to make
Yeah.
them really hard.
Right.
And so I like something that's really soft. But
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
yeah, the Peachtree Road Race will be raced on Thanksgiving Day.
That's what they're saying.
Do
Yeah.
you still have your number?
I don't know if we got our number yet. I'm not sure. We may have wanted to. We were going to pick ours up. Maybe I can't remember at the expo. You can pick it up, and I think maybe that's what we did. But I don't think we had it mailed to us. If we did, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they
'Cause I don't even know
if
what corral I'm
if
in.
they did it earlier this year. Since it's been going on since March. I didn't know if they had
Yeah.
said we're not giving out numbers until later because
I haven't heard that.
maybe our guest will know.
Yeah, she might. Yeah, we'll get her on here.
That's
She's probably got her
she-
ear a little
she might
closer
be-
to the
she
ground
might-
than I have. But
So,
yeah,
all right, do you want to bring her
let's
in?
bring her in. Yeah.
All right, come on in.
Stephanie Millette Dorman.
Hello.
So excited to have her.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Stephanie. Let's get you set up here,
Alrighty.
and you can join the conversation.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, like I said, glad to have you. This is great. I mean, we've known each other for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and when we started doing this podcast, we were just kind of just batting some things around about who we could bring in, and you were one of the first people that came to mind.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I say that because I've actually heard you speak and kind of tell your story. It's been years ago. You spoke to Rotary in Tifton several years ago, and I was there that day, and you just told a great story, and I know a little bit about you. It's kind of neat, this show, because the great thing about it is you learn more about people. You know folks. Like, I knew Beeman, but I didn't really know Beeman. So I learned a lot of cool things from talking to him. And I'm sure you can kind of give us a little more depth on on your story and struggles and that sort of thing as we go forward. But I will say you're an avid runner.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and
That's nice to hear from a
and
real
we're
athlete.
Facebook friends. Well, I wouldn't say that, but thank you. But I follow you on Facebook, so we were talking before we started this today, and we talked about the struggles we face and that sort of thing. But before we get into all that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us, where you're born, what brought you to Tifton. Are you a Tifton native? All that sort of thing.
All right. I'm Stephanie Dorman, married to
Okay.
Shannon Dorman. I was born and raised in Tifton, so Tiftonite all the way through. I work at Georgia Sports Medicine. Been there for this month 26 years. Started when I was 12. No.
I was about to say, must have started early.
I did start in high school, and I've just always stayed there. I love it. It's just like a second family. But I started out, of course, part-time. I was in high school, and been there for 26 years. Had several different jobs there. Currently doing referrals and helping answer phones and stuff like that. A little bit of everything. That's about it.
So Georgia Sports Medicine.
Georgia Sports Medicine
so
and
you-
orthopedic.
So you've seen various athletes and that sort of thing
yeah.
come through.
hmm
Okay, so how long have you been running?
I've been running since March 1st, 2010. So
Okay.
a little over 10 years.
It seems like you know that date really well.
Well, to me, it's like a second birthday. It's a day I took charge of a weight problem and just needed a lifestyle change, and that's the day that I started a Couch to 5K program in Tifton. A group from work, my boss at the time, but still my boss, Drew Dorman, and his wife started a Couch to 5K group there in Tifton at one of the high school tracks. The junior
Yeah.
high track was junior high.
Kind of what you're
Northeast.
doing now, right?
Yeah. It's come full circle. Me and Shannon, Shannon's
Sure,
my
yeah.
husband. We do Couch to 5K groups now. We love it because it changed our life so much. Like, he ran in high school, ran cross country and stuff. I've never been a runner, never been athletic at all. So I figured I'd try it. Never dreamed that it would take me as far as it has, and never dreamed that I would chase goals that were running related, running marathons and stuff. But something clicked, and it was like my tool to get weight off. It was like my tool, and then change diet, of course.
Sure.
That was the main thing. But running kind of helped me want to get in that mindset.
It's great when you've got a spouse that likes to run, because Rob's wife, Crystal's a runner, and of course Sandy's a runner.
Yeah.
And we don't always run together.
I love
but,
Sandy. Hey, Sandy.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, she's a pretty good girl.
Yeah.
But it is great when you've got that support and they understand what the runners thing is all about.
It was so helpful that he got into it too, And we didn't really go into it expecting anything. It just kind of, I don't know, it clicked, and it was like the right group of people that were so encouraging, and my family so encouraging, and friends, it was just like meant to be, when we started. And then I honestly, a lot of people will say, the Couch to 5K program is hard, especially when you're starting
Sure.
from zero, and I was over 300 pounds at the time. It was hard. I mean, I can remember, thinking, there's no way I'm going to do this. So it actually took me several go-arounds of Couch to 5K to be able to run a solid, even a mile,
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I want people to understand it wasn't just running that helped me lose
Yeah,
weight. It was
yeah.
changing diet too, drastically. But
Let me ask you.
it was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were 300 pounds. When did that just kind of, was that a slow progression to that, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, I can remember back to when I was a kid and being, the chubby kid, but, it just, I did not have any kind of unhappy childhood, or not one of those people like they portray on reality shows, just sitting around eating, and, I think maybe just genetics, and and overeating, eating out too much, and then I've always been active. I've never been just a sit around person, but as far as dedicated exercise, I've never been athletic. I've always been the one to tell a story to get out of pee or whatnot. It's funny now, like I'll be at the track sometimes where I can remember, hey, can I go help so-and-so in the classroom so I don't have to, do the laps or whatever. But now I'm doing Couch to 5K programs, trying to help people.
Heading it up,
So it's like weird sometimes when I think back. And I'm fortunate enough to be at the tracks that I grew up at, the high schools and where I went to high school. That's now I think middle school. I'm not sure. I don't have kids in the system, so I'm not real familiar. But yeah, so it's neat to think back,
So prior to the running, I mean, you basically you went to work, you ate out. Any other hobbies, anything that kept you active or anything like that?
Hanging out with family, and like I said, I don't have kids. I have a dog. So, taking her on walks and stuff. Dancing, I like to dance,
So this is a whole new dimension for you. I mean,
running, totally.
So when did it happen? When did you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to become a runner?
Well, the Couch to 5K, being in that.
But what made you say, hey, I'm going to do the Couch to 5K? What made you say, hey, I'm done with this. I'm gonna do something different.
Well, I've always been one to do. I was telling you before the show when we were talking. I used to watch Richard Simmons. I used to love to do the little cheesy sweating to the oldies and stuff. I do a lot of stuff like that for exercise, And I still love him. I love Richard Simmons.
Well, he inspired a lot of people.
He has a real story. He knows what it's like to be overweight and get it off and keep it off, because keeping it off is harder than getting it off. But anyway, so I'd watch his little infomercials, and hear the other people's stories, and I was like, I want a story like that one day. Like, I wish something would click for me, So I don't know. I guess. I was saying Drew and Brandy, they started the program, and then several people at work were interested. Drew, I believe, if I remember correctly, had just run his first marathon. So he was kind of interested in, starting a group, and we talked him into, hey, coach us, let's do a Couch to 5K. So he was like, all right, y'all get everybody together. Let's go. And I don't know, I just had a desire to try it at least. And Shannon with him, saying, yeah, I'll go. That sounds cool. Let's go start. And so we did, and I ended up walking a lot of it. Just, it was hard, but they would eventually got off the track and out onto the road, and I'd stay at the track behind. But I don't know, something about it just made me want to keep going. And then just, like I say, having the right group of cheerleaders or whatever, it really takes having a good support system, I don't know, it's just something about it clicked. It was just the right timing and right people.
Runners are pretty kind people, because if you meet the right ones, they can really support you.
That's the thing. And then when I got into doing 5Ks and stuff, like we did a hospital 5K that May. That was my first 5K. I walked the whole thing. Well, I sped walked. Two or three friends stayed right by my side the whole time. One in particular, Miss Nancy, that used to work with us. It took me 55 minutes to do that first 5K, but I was so proud I could have cried. And I was like, oh, I got to do that. That, I think, is when maybe the bug really bit, that first 5K, So we signed up for another one. I think maybe the Loop the Lake coming up, and I went and did that one.
Ooh, Loop the Lake.
Yep.
I missed that one. That's a classic.
I have a story about Loop the Lake.
Yeah, go ahead.
They tried to do a half marathon over there one year. And it's in like June or July. It's like,
ooh, that's tough.
I did the 10K and I thought I was gonna die, and then my one of our mutual friends, I don't know if I'll name his name, Wesley. He did the half, and they had run out of water and everything else.
Oh Lord!
Which it was somebody new putting it on, so we can't blame Loop the Lake. But he was delirious, and he got done. And he was I shouldn't be telling this on air, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's good with it, I'm sure.
Sorry, Wesley.
Yeah, sorry. He's a good guy.
But, and then, we're waiting for awards, and we're like, where's Wesley? He just got in his car and left. And we're like, I don't know if he was safe to drive yet.
Oh, goodness. He had all he wanted.
Yeah.
Holy
he was just looking for a Coke. That's all he was looking for.
He's a tough guy. Our friend Wesley's an Ironman, so
yeah,
so he's a tough guy. Yeah.
Cool.
But that was it's a great venue.
You were wishing you'd done
It's
that.
so pretty. Yeah.
Were you wishing you'd done the half?
No,
No.
no. I didn't want to do the 10K by mile 5.
Yeah, I've been in some races like that before.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of got bitten and you wanted to start racing and that sort of thing. So do you look forward to races? I mean, do you enjoy the race
Oh
thing?
yeah, I do. And I love the training. Like
Well, see, that's kind of what I was leading up to because I enjoy the training
I
more
love
actually
the
than I do the
training.
racing.
I don't think I would want to do a race without doing the training. To me, the training is where the grit is. Like,
Yeah.
especially for me, I was telling you how I prefer to run solo. It's hard to train for a marathon by yourself, which I've never trained for one 100% by myself. I have a running buddy, Mandy. She's my running buddy. We've done marathons together and trained together. And it's like with Shannon, like when we'll run together, we're different speeds, but we'll start together. We know we're out there with each other, and we'll loop back around each other, high five, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I love the training. To me, makes the finish line even more priceless. All that, because you look back on all that grit and all the sweat and literally blood, sweat, and tears. If you've run marathons, haven't you? Yeah, it's hard, and that training is brutal, especially if you do one where you've got to train now, summertime. So
Well,
I love the training.
You know Renata Alonso?
Yes.
Renata ran a marathon several years ago, and she trained on that course. We run that 6-mile loop there in Tifton, so we start at 8th Street and we finish at 8th Street.
Right.
And she would go out there and she would run that like 4 times, or how many times it took to accumulate 20 miles. And she said that she would start so early that she'd have, the course would look different by the time she finished because it'd be dark in the mornings, and then it'd be light by the time she finished. So, that's how she kind of dealt with it, I guess. But I thought that was a funny story. But
yeah.
So you've done the full 26.2, right?
I've done 3 of them.
3. Wow, that's great. Which 3 did you do?
My first one was Donna, the breast cancer
I
marathon.
haven't. That's what I'm looking to do. Which I know they canceled
They
it now.
canceled it.
They
It's
canceled it. That
virtual
was
this
yeah.
year, or
Yeah.
next year,
Yeah.
2021. Yeah,
I haven't done that one yet. I'd like to do it.
that one's fun. Have you ever done the half there?
I've never done anything Donna related.
Really?
Sure haven't. No.
Sandy has.
Sandy's done a
hasn't
bazillion
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
She does
They're
like all
so
of them. Yeah.
fun. Yeah, Sandy's the best. But
So
yeah,
nice.
those are really fun, and they're so moving because there's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
breast
that's what I hear.
cancer or cancer. It's based on breast cancer. But it's so inspiring. Have you done it?
No.
Y'all need
Well,
to do it.
we were thinking about
That's
doing
what
it
we were
this
gonna
year.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that was on our list.
Yeah, they changed the route last time we did it. My last
I heard
one was
that.
2019, I think. They started Neptune Beach now, so it's
Really?
a little different, but you don't have that dad blasted hill at the end.
That's got to be good.
Yeah, the end of it used to be right over there by Mayo Clinic, I believe.
Yeah.
And man, the last mile was straight up a hill, a bridge. Yeah, so.
That sounds like a Todd Smoot design course.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. A hill at the end.
They always had a huge group.
Did
of
it have a
cheerleaders.
railroad track and a train?
No, that would be Tipton.
Yeah. So what was the other 2?
That was 2013, and then later that year I did the Atlanta Marathon. Talk about hills.
Golly.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
glutton for punishment doing the
Well, but
Atlanta
I
Marathon.
like to. If I'm going to do it, I want to challenge, and it was somewhere different. And
I did the hot chocolate there. Have you done the hot chocolate?
No, it's
Oh,
never worked
gosh.
out that we could, but I've heard that's a fun one.
It's fun. It was cold that year, which I loved it. It was super cold, but man, there's a lot of hills out here right
Yeah.
around.
Atlanta is brutal.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
It's
tough.
brutal. Yeah, but I actually improved my time there.
Really?
Yeah, the
That's quite a
same year.
feat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was proud.
So what was
And
your other one?
The next one was in 2014 in the hills of Chattanooga.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Stephanie.
need to
You like
go to
hills.
South Florida where it's flat.
Yeah.
I do want to do one in Miami one day, or Fort Lauderdale.
You need
Yeah.
to just skip on down to Jacksonville and do the Jacksonville Bank because it's flat as a
I
board.
have done that one. I've done the half there.
Yeah, that's a
couple
good
of times.
course.
Yeah,
That's
that
pretty
one's good.
speedy. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you and Shannon ran along together at
We
that
did.
one
We
one
did.
time.
You know, me
He
and
remembers that.
Shannon finished a peach tree together. I don't know if-
Yes.
Yeah,
yep,
we basically
he always
ran in together almost. Yeah.
Yeah, he always remembers that. He thinks
Yeah.
a lot of you.
Well, I think a lot of Shannon. He's a
Yeah.
great guy. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how in the world out of 60,000 people, me and him came up on each other, but we
Mhm.
did.
It's
and
crazy.
we
yeah.
probably ran. I'm not remember for sure, but we might have ran like the last mile together or something. Maybe a little bit further. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he remembers that because
Yeah.
he'll talk about every year. He'll be like, "Yeah, I remember me and Rick finished one together."
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
It really was.
So you're starting at 300 pounds. What did you do with your diet?
I cut out sweets majorly because I'm a sweets addict. Still am. I obviously still love cake and donuts. So
Soft drinks,
I
everything.
cut out, yeah, which I've never was. I've always been a big water drinker. But I cut out sweets majorly and just made changes. Like I never got into any low carb or any diet per se. You know, I counted calories. That was it. I cut calories drastically and I try to make better choices as far as like I'd still go to Chick-fil-A, but instead of getting the fries, I'd get the fruit cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things, just small changes like that. And it's true, small changes, although they're very hard, they do add up. I mean, it took me almost 2 years to lose 140-ish pounds.
That's good, though.
So, yeah, but
that's
just
great.
changing.
So
Just
you didn't just completely wipe out anything.
Mm-mm.
You just tweaked everything.
I just tweaked
bit.
everything. Just tried to make healthier choices and cut way back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just try to eat less because I never really, I've always kind of paid attention. Like I said, I've never been one to, like they portray on Biggest Loser and stuff, where you just sit around and eat, you know, but I was making unhealthy choices. Like I'd eat at Zaxby's a few times a week, or, you know, maybe get too big of a piece of cake, which, you know, just things like that you don't even really think, just bad habits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So just making better choices. And
You know, when you work in an office environment, and I see this from the store, we have
That's
reps
a
come
lot
in,
of snacking.
always donuts and cake.
And it's hard
everything
because I
else.
love, like I said, I love, and I didn't want to just cut things out completely, you know, because I was afraid if I cut out, you know, carbs, just say, because that's a big thing. Oh, you got to cut out the carbs. But I still ate, like my carbs was fruit. I would make healthier choices. Instead of grabbing a Reese cup, I'd eat some pineapple or something, you know,
Sure.
just making better choices.
Well, I think the thing is we still got to live, you know, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
We're not getting paid to diet or anything like that. So, you know, you want to be conscious of it. And I think what you did is great because, you know, you still have to live, you still have to eat, and there's going to be times that you're going to just eat things you shouldn't eat. You know,
Oh,
it's
I
just
do.
human nature, you know.
Right.
And sometimes you earn it, you know. I mean, you know, you can't just quit living because, you know, you've got a goal. But, you know, the way you kind of, you tweaked it and you kind of brought it down a little bit at a time, it took you, as you say, it took a little bit of time to get where, well, let me just ask you, I started to say where you wanted to be, but, you know, no one's ever really want to be, you know. I mean, you always want more or less or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
You're always struggling to that goal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at, like now? Do you feel like you're the best you've ever been, or are you?
I mean, that's a hard one. Because I feel like I can always do a lot better. And I mean, I have put on probably 40 of the weight I'd lost. Oh, it's thundering outside. I've gained about 40 pounds back, but I've held steady at 100, 110 pounds. I've kept that off for almost 8 years. 8 years, because it took 2 years to get, almost 2 years to get it off. So I'm proud of that, you know, just holding off, because it's
Yeah.
hard. It's harder to keep it off than it is to lose it, honestly. I mean, you get to where if you truly change the habits, you know, like change your mindset about eating, and it's so hard to explain, you can get to a place where you're kind of, it's just natural to make the choices, but then you always have the want to, you know, to eat the so-called bad stuff. So it's like kind of trying to find that balance of, you don't want to beat yourself up like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ate a donut, or, you know. So it's like trying to find the balance of
Yeah.
eating, you know, living, like you said, just
Sure, yeah,
living and not
exactly.
just depriving yourself. Although you do have to, I hate to say deprive, but you do have to learn new habits and cut way back to truly lose weight. And exercising is a huge help.
Right. I think it's always being conscious of what you're doing.
It
you know.
is. It's being
Bad
conscious.
decision, good decision. You're always conscious
And just
of it.
don't
you know.
beat yourself up. That's the thing. You got to stay positive. You
Right.
know,
That's right.
don't get into I messed up this week, so I've got to. I'm just done. I'm a loser. What, you know? And it's easy to do that. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I can
so
understand that, you know.
Hard. It's so hard.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta get back on the wagon and keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna fall off a million times, but I still fall off of it. So.
Me, I have.
Well, Rob, you're looking pretty trim right now.
Well,
Give me the good news, man.
I'll tell you that I had my we did have family coming to town, and one of my family members, he's naturally fit. I think I've showed you him before. He's a bodybuilder out in Texas, and he came in. He's 45. He's 5 years older than me, and just talking with him, and he gave me some pointers, and you know what? He has six-pack abs. He's 45. He has six-pack abs. He's like, I don't, I eat Subway a lot. He's like, and I don't mind eating the bread. He's like, but I'll eat the baked chips and I won't have a drink. And I have a 6-inch. I said, they make inches. They make
That's the thing
6-inch subs.
is little changes. You gotta have the foot long.
So, but no, he actually told me, he's like, he'll get a foot long, he'll eat half of it, and then he eat half of it later. But and he gave me some pointers. I said, you are going to be my new coach to help me lose some weight, because and you know what? Truth be told, he's not even a runner. He does zero cardio. I tried to get him to come out and run with me, and he didn't. All he does is incline treadmill. He does incline treadmill, and he rides a bike. And that's it.
That's pretty good.
You don't have to run to, I have people like friends and family and stuff, just different. Oh, I can never run. I don't want to run. And you have to love it to really want to get into it, but you don't have to run any kind of exercise, and they say strength training. I've been trying to do a lot more strength training because that helps running, but strength training is a good way for building muscle for weight loss.
And so he works out usually 6 days a week.
Wow.
And so, but he doesn't, he doesn't spend probably more than 30, 40 minutes in the gym.
I agree
day.
with that. A lot of people, you see guys, they say, man, I've been here for 2.5 hours. They say, man, your muscles, they're exhausted. 2.5 hours can't possibly do you any good.
Right.
Really, you only need a very short, you see people go in the gym and we're talking about gym now, but they go in the gym, they do a little lift, and they sit down and do a little talking. It's like, okay, no wonder you've been here 2.5 hours. You go in there, you hit it hard, and like say 30, 40 minutes or whatever, you're out of there, and you have a great workout. Yeah.
But it was surprising to me because I was like, well, what do you eat? I was expecting him to say, chicken breast and vegetables and lettuce and drink a gallon of water, and he's like, no. I'll go out and I'll eat Jimmy John's. And he said, if I go to Jimmy John's, I'll get an unwich. But if I go to Subway, I'll eat a Subway sandwich, and he gets the chicken roast.
Yeah.
And just gets a stack of vegetables, and that's all he does. And, he told me that I needed to cut out carbs late at night.
Yeah, I've been telling you that.
Yeah. He said just eat protein and vegetables.
Yeah.
And just lay off the carbs.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'd like to meet this guy sometime.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get him on the show. And but just being around him, and I don't know what I was doing, but I was just. Well,
there's something about being somebody being around somebody who's fit or active that makes you want to be active. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch these YouTubers sometimes, and I'm like, man, I'm going to hit the road and do some miles.
It inspires you. Yes. Yeah.
Rob used to play some music in the mornings. We'd go do marathons, and he'd always cue up this music track or whatever he had, and you know, everybody all pumped up about going running and everything at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Music will do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you run with music?
Oh yeah.
So see, I can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I can.
Shannon doesn't either.
I can do the pre-show, but I can't do it while I'm running because I like to hear myself breathe. I like to,
I don't like to hear myself breathe.
It kind of gives me. It's like a check off for me. I can kind of say, okay, well, here's where I'm at. I'm breathing too hard. I'm breathing. I kind of figure out where I'm at. If
that makes sense.
Any sense. Yeah.
It does make sense. Yeah.
But anyway, Stephanie, so you got started, and you've ran marathons, and you've done all these great things, and we were talking a bit about Peachtree prior to you coming over, and you're a big Peachtree, and we talked about Shannon running with us and everything. How long have you done Peachtree? How many years have you been doing that?
This would have been our 9th year.
Wow, that's a pretty good streak.
Yeah.
So you plan on doing it at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we're signed up, and you were talking about the bibs. Have they come in yet? No, they said they would wait until they for sure know if it's really going to happen. They're saying it's going to happen Thanksgiving Day. We're planning on being there. Of course, it'll depend on the whole Rona situation, but
I really hope we can do it.
I
hope
so.
Rona is passed enough
it
that
will
we
be
can do it.
epic to be able to go do a 6-mile race at the, not that it will be the end of COVID-19 or nowhere near that, but just to be able to do that, to me that's awesome.
You know, the funny thing about it is that everybody I've talked to so far, when they say it's going to be moved to Thanksgiving, no one has batted an eye about the idea that it's on Thanksgiving. Everybody's like, okay, I'll be there.
I'll be there, yeah.
And that tells you something about how we are, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
because like most people are like, no, that's you know, it's one of the most important holidays of the year, and you know, that's Thanksgiving, that's family time. Not for runners, we're just gonna go run. You know,
And I
we'll
already
eat
let
dinner
my
later.
family know. They understand. They,
Yeah.
you know, they're. In fact, my brother, he lives in Alpharetta, so he's like, well, maybe we could just make Thanksgiving here. So,
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
yeah,
That's
I have
good.
really good
We're going to
family.
change the dinner
support.
plans. We'll be back
That's right,
around,
yeah. Yeah.
7 o'clock at night. That's when we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner.
Hey, that
So
works.
it's always running later, you know. You got to do. I mean, always running first. You got to do your eating and everything else
Yeah.
later on.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you got time to do that.
Yeah. I hope it happens, though.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really want to do it.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I think some people are ready to see races come back. You know, and
Yes.
you know, you want to be safe, of course, but hopefully there's a way that we can get that going again.
Well, between now and then, they could plan. I'm sure there's people, that's big enough race that people are having strategies and thinking these things through about how they can do it safely, even if there is still Corona, which Corona will still be around, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But to do it in a way that everybody can run it and enjoy it and have a good time.
And feel
Right.
as safe
Yeah,
as possible
sure.
and be as safe as possible.
That's
yeah.
right.
And the good thing is it will not be quite as warm
Yes.
on Thanksgiving Day.
That's
Maybe
exactly
it's
what
gonna
I was thinking.
I'm hoping it's
PR.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? It's not 97 degrees?
Yeah, man, I was hoping for a cool Thanksgiving.
I wonder if they're going to have an asterisk if there's a lot of PRs there.
Yeah, they could have. I don't know. I remember my best time was a weird 4th of July. I mean, it wasn't cool by any means, but it had rained, I think. And it was just a little bit cooler than normal. And I did run a good race. I mean, you just breathe better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, Stephanie. So, okay, we know now you're fit.
Greg says he'll host the whole Corona crowd.
Oh,
The-
is
the
that my
Peach Tea
brother? Is
crowd.
he?
Yep.
Yep.
Who is
Your
this?
brother?
My brother. He's the
Oh,
one that I
wow.
was
Okay,
saying is
wow.
going to have
And then
things.
your niece, Denise?
That's my sister-in-law.
Oh, your sister-in-law.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she's watching.
Yay.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Hey, y'all.
And Sandy Register's watching.
Sandy.
She says Rick's 56 and he has six-pack abs.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my wife. She's so great. Always looking out for me.
And,
Hey,
it's because she's over at home cooking, the grilled chicken and stuff,
Oh
right?
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's grilled chicken. We squeeze all the juices out of it and everything, and just nah.
I've tried to follow your diet before.
My diet's. I got a weird diet. I really do. I mean, I do-
Eating Chinese food for lunch and cereal for dinner, and it just didn't work for
Man,
me.
I'm all in for breakfast. I'm all in for lunch, but then everything starts tapering off for me after that. I usually run in the evening, so I'm kind of burning off whatever I had. But I like a big breakfast. I like a big lunch, and then just really
A small
Because-
dinner.
minuscule.
Because
for the-
somebody
yeah.
else was asking me about your diet the other day, and I said,
Oh,
Wow,
gosh.
getting close.
it's storming.
I wonder if they saw me like,
Yeah, you couldn't help but do it.
oh, big lightning. I wonder if anybody heard that on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if you still do it. Do you still eat the Jimmy Dean biscuits on the way to work?
I occasionally I do. I had last week. I kind of had a big week for that. I had the little cup you can get,
Mhm.
and then I had a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of biscuits. So I'll eat those, and I like that mainly because it just saves me money. I don't have to
Mhm.
stop at a drive-through because I'm going to stop at a drive-through every morning to get something to eat for breakfast. I mean, that's just what I do. I just don't have time in the morning to get up and cook it, although I wish I could. And it's not that I don't have time; I just don't feel like it. I don't want to do it.
I do. I get up and cook breakfast every
See,
morning.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Shannon's already at work because he has to go in so early, but I'll get up and fix
Yeah.
some eggs and usually fry a couple eggs and have some turkey sausage and maybe a piece of wheat toast.
Wow, you are
Why
great.
are you eating
Yeah.
turkey sausage?
See, I do the same thing. Yeah. Everything in our house is fat-free mayonnaise, is fat-free milk, is turkey sausage, turkey hamburger meat.
I
You
like
eat turkey
turkey.
sausage?
That's all I eat.
You know what? Turkey
bacon.
I,
I'm
do
turkey
I
bacon.
do have a recipe for. Oh, you were talking turkey sausage. I don't know about turkey sausage. I'm talking about turkey bacon.
That's what I'm
I
talking
have a
about.
nice recipe for turkey bacon. All you do is you get a pack of regular bacon, and you fry that regular bacon till there's enough bacon grease in the bottom, and then you put in the turkey bacon. It makes it taste really good.
Oh, bless it.
And that's
Hey.
I love to eat turkey bacon then because it
I'm
tastes
sure.
good.
Well, my son had some friends over. They spent a night a couple of weeks ago, and I said I'm going to treat them because I was cooking breakfast in the morning. I said I'm going to cook some real bacon. So I bought first time in years I bought real bacon. I said I'm going to treat them and cooking some real bacon because everybody's not like me. They don't like turkey bacon. So I cooked, and man, by the time I got through cooking it, like the pan was half full of grease. I said, now I remember why I don't eat this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get it, and that's the going back to making the changes. Once you get used to, like when you haven't eaten a lot of sugar for a long time, you don't crave it anymore. And then when you do, it's like, whoa, that's so sweet.
I don't know if I've ever been that long because I crave things. I mean, like, I grew up on Coca-Cola, hardcore, straight Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. And I can go years without drinking Coca-Cola, but if you were to have a Coca-Cola right there in front of me, my mouth would still start watering years after not having a Coca-Cola because I can still taste it.
That's nothing. I haven't had a soft drink in 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I had one today.
I like Coke Zero. I like the Zeros.
Yeah, Sandy likes the Coke Zero.
This is why I love this place right here because they have Coke Zero.
Oh, yeah?
And so I can go through there.
I love Coke
and
Zero.
I bought the kids breakfast this morning, and I got a Coke Zero.
Yeah. See, I love eating breakfast there.
Yeah.
I've never
that
been
breakfast
there.
in a cup.
I've heard it's good,
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
I gained 35 pounds because they opened up right next door.
It's so easy to gain weight.
But that's water. I just used the cup because I
Yeah.
don't want to. It's a styrofoam cup, and I don't want it to be one use, but I
Hey,
can
I do
make
the
it a
same
day
thing.
use.
Yeah. If I got
There you go.
my water bottle, I just fill it up out of the refrigerator over and over and over. So Sandy's like, that bottle, we've had it for like a week. And I said, well, I just keep filling it up, but I don't know.
It's good for a week.
Yeah, that's good.
But,
I save the water I've
a
got.
styrofoam cup, I think it's good for at least 24 hours.
Yeah,
So I drink
absolutely.
the Diet Coke Zero, but it still has the crushed ice in it. So I fill it up with water, and then I put a little splash of Mio in there to keep it.
Wow, who's coming down? Okay, Stephanie, all right, you're fit now. You're a fit person. You're out running. You're doing the miles. Now, we had talked a few minutes ago, and you said, hey, I'm kind of slacked off a little bit because of the COVID. It's understandable. And the heat and that sort of thing. And, where are you at now? What have you got going?
Right now, I'm
How many miles are you doing a week?
not a lot, probably 10 or 12. Just
Yeah,
doing short 2 and 3 milers.
But you're getting out there,
3 or
yeah,
4
yeah.
times a day, and then doing some strength training a couple days a week at home in my little home gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not focusing on any distance right now. I haven't for a while actually. My last half marathon was 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, just short runs right now. Just trying to keep a base, so that when I do get ready to train for a long race again, because sometimes I'll say like, oh, I'm never going to do a long distance again, but I know I will.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I want a marathon again too, and we say this all the time, but me and Rob ran a few together, and then we had we just had a drought or just some time off there where we didn't do it.
You run into it.
And I want to go back and do it again. I mean, I just want a marathon again. I don't know if I can. That's the thing, I'm older now, and I
it's
just don't know if
hard.
my body can go 26.2 miles. But
You can do it.
You can.
Well,
You can do it.
yeah,
You can.
the miles I'm running right now wouldn't prove that. But, but it's just so hot. I mean, you just can't do it right now. You know what I mean?
Do a cold marathon.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we've tried to do cold marathons, and they always end up blazing hot.
Yeah. When we expect something,
That's true.
to be 60 degrees, it's always 80 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
been kind of tough. So, what kind of advice do you have for folks? I mean, if you got somebody in the same position you were in, or just somebody who says, "Hey, I just want to start running," what kind of advice would you give them?
Stick with it, and
Yeah.
don't get discouraged. Or when you do get discouraged, don't dwell in that discouragement. Stay positive, and that sounds so cliche and so cheesy, but it's the truth. Have your little pity party, and then get out of it. Focus, like you said, the YouTube videos, watching things, reading other people's success stories, and hanging around the right people. Be with the right people
Right.
that help encourage you, but just don't give up. Like, just keep going. And I've found, like with running, you're gonna get tired of it. You have days it's hard to get out of bed to go, or in the evening when you're tired. But just finding that positive place to just learning how to self-motivate, and just
Sure.
just not giving up.
Yeah.
And having a plan helps. Have a Couch to 5K to follow. Get a group if you're not the type that wants to go by themselves. But having a plan. Don't give up and stay positive.
Sounds
But
good.
yeah, because your journey took you 2 years. 2 years. I don't know if I've ever stuck with anything.
It's hard, and it really, weight loss, it's a lifetime journey. It never ends, because you don't just hit I met my goal and boom, go back
Well,
down.
you're never.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the great thing about
you-
fitness.
you don't
can't
get-
ever
You
arrive.
can't
know?
ever stop. You have to.
you don't get to where you're like, oh, I'm fit. A
Right.
bodybuilder doesn't go,
No,
oh, I've got my
anything.
muscles.
With
Right.
Now I can
anything.
quit.
Yeah.
You
Really,
know?
you got a very short window, a small window when you feel like, hey, I'm there. You know,
Right.
now that window's over, then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do
Well,
this. I
like
gotta
with
do that.
running a
Yeah.
marathon, you
Yeah.
can't just because you've run one or two doesn't mean like, oh, I'm gonna go run a marathon this weekend. No, doesn't work that way.
That's
you
right,
just have
yeah.
to stay at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you feel like you can rule the world when you can run a marathon?
Oh my gosh.
So like, what was
yes.
on your training runs? How far were you going? Like before the marathon, what was your longest run?
Well, I was doing half marathons. I had already done
Yeah.
several or a few. That was my first big race was a Disney half marathon in 2011, and then I was
So-
like, I wonder if I could do a full.
So you were running 13 miles, and that was just kind of like, hey, I'm just doing 13 miles, right?
Well, I don't know about
Whatever,
that.
whatever,
but-
just 13 miles.
yeah,
right?
just
Yeah.
training, and I used the Hal Higdon.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
how he
we,
did.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
I would use his beginner, the novice plan, and I think he takes you up to like 10 miles, and then the last 3 are mental. If you can do 10, you can do
Yeah.
3. The same thing with the marathon. I do the one that goes up to 20 miles or 23 maybe. I can't remember, but so that last bit,
Mm-hmm.
pull it out of your head, and it's true. If you can do 10, you can do the last 3. But I guess when I did my first full, I was, half marathon fit. It's hard for me to think of myself as fit, but I was. I was
I
running.
mean, if you're out running, you're
Yeah.
fit. Yeah, I mean, you got to
So, I was at that level, and I guess I was, me and my friend Mandy, we were like, let's do this. Let's really do a full marathon. And so we just went for it, and we started training and just building up, and followed it. I mean, we do our little charts and know what workout. We're like dedicated trainers. Like we wanted to be able to say we did the training. Some people would just go wing it, and that's fine. More power
Done
to
that
you.
before.
I've done both, yeah.
Not knocking it, but I love the training. I like to look back because
Yeah.
we have a lot of memories. Me and her on our training runs. They say what happens on a long train run stays on
That's
a long
right.
train
Yeah.
run.
yeah. Some great conversations
And-
in it.
Yeah, and
yeah.
well, not so much with us because we're both. I'm a loner by nature, and she is too. So I think that's why we run so well together, because we're together, but we're not together. If that makes sense,
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
start together, and we're pretty close in speed. So if one of us got a little ahead, we'd loop back around to the other person and meet back up. And
Man, I'm just talking the whole time. I just love to talk. And
Yeah.
Rob,
See, I
fortunately,
could
Rob
not-
likes to talk too, but I'm a talker, and I know people are like, man, will you just shut up? But
I would be like that if I was running with you. I'd be like, please shut up.
the,
When I'm
the
not-
earphones go in, right?
I'd be like, see ya, Rick. No, nothing. I just prefer to
Yeah,
not talk when I run.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've ran with people like that
Now,
before.
that being said, I know that if I were to run with a group of people, or even a small group of people, it would help. It would help my speed and technical.
Yeah,
It would help. I know that. I realize that it would, if I would come run with the Tifton group on
I wish you
Wednesday
would.
night.
Yeah.
I feel so. I don't want to say intimidated, because none of y'all are intimidating.
Oh my gosh, it's
Tif-
such a great group of people.
Runners are the best. Oh my gosh. Whenever me and Shannon started getting into running and, going to 5Ks and 10Ks and half marathons, runners are the most amazing group of humans on the planet. Like, so supportive. And that's one thing I think that helped keep me going, is meeting people like you, like Beeman, for Beeman to think that I'm an athlete, or for Ernest Lang to,
Yeah.
for
Man,
people.
you're saying some great names here.
For
they're
people like that to congratulate me, and I don't know, it's just like humbling and like, whoa, like I can really be part of this group, so it makes you want to be part of it and challenge yourself. It's just a great atmosphere. It's
Yeah.
so, and any race you go to, like Peachtree, for instance, 60,000 people at that start line, but you're all like the same. Like, you don't know who's in that group of people around you. You don't know each individual story, but you're all the same. Like, you're all there for that same. It's just amazing.
Yeah, everybody kind of understands everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We shot out to Angela Burnett, one of our Danger Runner friends.
Oh wow, man, I hadn't talked to her in a long time.
Yeah, her and I saw her husband out running.
David, yeah.
Yeah, David and Ethan. were out running a
Gotcha,
few weeks
yeah.
ago. I saw them out running. Hopefully, Angela needs to come out and run
She
with
does.
us
She needs
again.
to come run with us. Yeah.
She was fast. She used to
Yeah,
whoop
Angela's
us.
fast. Yeah, she's a good runner. We used to have a group, and it's called the Danger Runners, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I should say we still do or don't. I don't know, but
Well, once a danger runner, always a danger
that's
runner.
right.
There
That's
you go.
right. Yeah, we had what 5 people maybe that ran with us every Sunday
There were
morning.
5 people, and
We're-
then we
we're
had
steady, yeah.
several rotate. I mean, you'd show up and it would be just.
Yeah, we
and
had a lot
we
of,
were all down for the long run.
yeah, we had a lot
I
of
mean,
guests. We had a lot of guests come in.
That's
We-
awesome.
There wasn't many that fell off. It would be like, let's run 10. Okay, we're running 10.
Yeah.
So that was a good group, and we had
Yeah.
several, and they were from all ages, races, and paces.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That back to running, you said come run with y'all, and several people have invited me and Shannon to come run with a group. And I think I had started to say it's not that I feel intimidated by y'all, because y'all are not intimidating. That's where I think I got off track, is that everybody's always been so welcoming. But I do know that I don't want to label myself as slow, because I'm out there doing my best, and I say my best. I know I could do better, because we can always do better. And I already said I know if I run with a group of people, it would help. But I think it's just, maybe it is intimidation. Like, I would know that I would be so much slower, but then I probably wouldn't, because Kim Mormon, who's part of y'all's group, she's
Yeah.
told me before, no, just.
Yeah,
And
I
even
mean,
if I am, so what? Just I know the route, I know Tifton, but it still would have that camaraderie. So I really need to join y'all.
Yeah.
Kim ran 200 something miles. Like, I can't remember if it was last month or whatever. I mean, it's like we were
She's
talking about. I was like, that is
amazing.
unreal.
She's
But 200
amazing.
something miles in a month. I was like, holy moly. Yeah,
Wow.
she was logging some miles. Yeah.
That's a
Just a shout out to her. I mean, I was really blown away by that. I ran like 180 one month or something. I thought I did something.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
even on the
haven't
map.
done that since
I
I've
don't-
trained for a marathon.
I don't know how many miles I've run this month.
I don't keep track. I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't keep a log or a journal?
No, I used to when I used Runkeeper more. It would automatically
Right.
keep, but then I got a Apple Watch probably 6 months ago, and it of course logs everything. But I just don't. I think just because.
Are you on Strava?
No,
You need to get on Strava. Follow me, Rob McGinn, Strava.
Okay, I've heard.
Anybody
a lot
else
about
who's
Strava.
out there, follow me on Strava. I've been trying to post pictures every day too after I run,
That's good. Yeah.
just so people know what it
Know
looks
who
like.
Rob is,
Yeah, know who I am, and because I post pictures, because I usually run with the dog, or I run with the twins. I only ran with one of the twins today. One of them was up. One of them got up at like 4:50.
Oh, so they're on different schedules now.
Well, it was just, I guess over the weekend we just had a bad weekend because we
Yeah.
stayed out late a couple nights, and we had family over and stuff, so they were all out of whack. I feel sorry for Crystal, because I think she got up 11 times.
Oh.
But
Rob hung out with me. Excuse me one second. Rob, he hung out with me too long because he did exactly what I did. He's a 40-year-old dad.
yeah,
When my youngest son Graham was born, I was 40.
Uh-huh.
And then Rob only had 2 kids, and his kids were older. Not older, but they were they wasn't infants.
Mhm.
And then Rob had twins at 40 years old.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
so
Yeah.
so but it was so much easier pushing one of them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess it's 20 pounds lighter or whatever. So
Yeah, I bet it was.
But then I got back to the house, and Crystal's like, the other baby woke up probably as you were walking out the door.
Oh.
But so I try to post pictures on Strava. If anybody out there who's on Strava wants to look me up, Rob
Sounds good.
McGinn.
I need to get on there myself.
Yeah, I need to.
But see, the reason I like Strava is because it'll take my Garmin watch, it takes Apple Watch, it takes Nike Watch, it takes all of them, and it basically can upload all the platforms to Strava. So a lot of people who are running with Apple Watches now, they can come over to and still see, because for a long time, I had friends just where Garmin was the place. Well, for a long time we used, I can't remember what the website was, but it was a Daily Mile. That's what it was called. It's no longer around anymore.
I remember that.
Because they went under or whatever. But because everybody started, but you'd have to log in the Daily Mile. This is how my run went, and this is how many miles I ran. This is what the pace was, and you'd have to log all that stuff. And Garmin,
I'm too tired to do that.
yeah,
Now it's so easy.
and then
Just-
Garmin automatically did it, and everybody had a Garmin, could load up the Garmin Connect app, and everybody, that's where you'd go look and see what everybody was running on the Garmin Connect
Yeah.
app. And then people started getting the iWatches, people started getting into the
Fitbit.
the Fitbits and
Mhm.
everything like that. And so people would, slowly, Garmin wasn't the only game in
Yeah.
town. So
Yeah.
now Strava takes all that information and loads it up.
That's
So
See,
pretty
I have a
cool.
Runkeeper like you do.
Yeah.
Is Runkeeper, is it compatible with Strava?
so,
Runkeeper compatible with Strava?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but if you're using your phone like that, Strava has it can log the runs.
I got you. Okay.
Because today I forgot my watch on the thing, and I already had one of the babies loaded up in the stroller. So I'm like, I don't want to run back inside because I had the dog and the baby and everything. I
You
don't
run
want-
with a stroller and a dog?
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
Yeah.
The dog is tied to the stroller,
Gotcha.
and he helps me push the stroller
Oh,
along
cool, yeah.
sometimes. But I tried to rig it up like a Adirondack sled, but it didn't work like that. So now I just have to have it, done a different way. But so I had the dog and I had the baby, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to use my phone today. And so I did it with the Strava app. You can use your watch or with the phone.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
gotta
really
look into
really a
that.
cool app.
Yeah, that's cool. Stephanie, tell us about your favorite moment with running.
Oh, gosh.
Tell us your favorite race moment, and then tell us your favorite moment overall.
Favorite race moment.
Can you pin it down to that?
There's a lot. Two that come to mind first are going to be finishing my first full,
Yeah.
or just doing my first full, that whole experience.
Hey, how did you feel when you crossed the finish line? I mean, I know you were elated and all, but were you just like, was it everything you had, or did you have one of the great big smiles on your face
I
and
think
perfect
a
finish pictures?
mixture. I think
Yeah.
a mixture. I mean, my family was there. Shannon was there. My mom and dad and my sister had come down.
For Sandy's sake, I got to ask you this:
What?
Did you run a full before Shannon did?
No,
Okay, because Sandy ran a full before I did.
no, he didn't.
Nanny,
He had
nanny,
done one at
yeah.
Disney. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think his was before mine.
Yeah.
I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, he did one in 2012 at Disney. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have my years right. But yeah, so finishing my first marathon. But yeah, I was spent, because I was determined to run the whole thing, and I did all 26 miles. And I finished in decent time, 5 something, a little
Yeah,
over 5
yeah.
hours, maybe 5:24. I can't remember exactly. See, I don't keep up with the technicalities. I just try to enjoy it. But yeah, just a feeling of wow, like you just did that,
Yeah.
and it's so hard because only like 1 or 2% of us have done one,
Yeah.
and
It's something like
a
that.
small percentage, so it's a pretty good feeling. Which, yeah, I mean, it's just a huge feeling of accomplishment, and of course you're hurting. I mean, I didn't have any abnormal, where I had to go to a medical tent or anything. Not at that race. I have had half marathon where I thought I was going to die and quit. That was a moment, and actually looking back, I'm proud of that moment that I didn't quit. That was at a Disney race, a half marathon. But yeah, that one. And then my favorite half marathon was Vegas, the Rock and Roll in Las Vegas.
My sister's done the rock
That-
and roll half in Vegas.
Wow.
That's
I'd
a
love to do that.
Fun
Because
race.
it's at night, right?
Yes, and they shut the strip down.
Oh, you
It's-
run down the strip.
Yes.
You run by
yeah.
the Bellagio and all that.
Everything. Yeah, you run through Fremont Street. Yeah, you go all the
Wow.
way. And there's a full there.
Yeah.
They have a full too. Yeah, we want to
Oh,
do
my
it
goodness.
again. We actually had thought about doing it this year, but
What time of the year is it?
it's in November.
Rob, we got to do that.
Do it, I'm telling you.
Can we drive out there? Because I don't fly.
We can drive out there. Hey, maybe we can see the country.
Road
yeah,
trip,
yeah,
road
yeah,
trip.
absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But my sister she enjoyed it a lot. Of course, she was running alongside a couple that every mile they took a shot.
That'd be a fun
Wow.
race.
Oh, my goodness.
Probably don't even remember
So
it.
13 shots. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Man, that's something.
Hopefully
So-
you don't have to run back to your car. I don't know.
How'd you find out about that one? Is just something that appealed to you?
Just looking up races, because
Yeah.
we got to where we were wanting to, travel to races and
Well, see,
just always looking.
We did the same thing. We kind of got to that point. We said, we've done Florida, we've done Georgia, we done, we want to go do something somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because we want to run the New York Marathon. But
Yes.
I would love to do that. And I'm not really sure how it works now, but I think if you it used to be that I believe that if you put your name in X amount of times and you didn't get chosen, then you were kind of automatically in. Like
I think that's the way it is. The New York City half, that's my dream race. And
Yeah.
I was wanting to do it this March, but we decided, which it ended up being canceled anyway. That's right when all the COVID stuff started, COVID-19, which I had already kind of decided not to anyway because we ended up going to New York for another reason in February. We were actually in New York when all of this COVID-19 stuff was starting before it was, blown up. But anyway, New York City Half Marathon is in March. It's always around St. Patrick's Day. That's my dream race.
yeah,
I
that
want to
sounds
do,
right.
and that one is a lottery. Yeah, I actually applied for it for last year to run it in 2019, but didn't get picked. So I was gonna do it that year, but yeah, I'm gonna do it one day though.
Did I ever tell you the story? I know I hadn't told you, Stephanie, but we were in Boston, a couple of years ago, and me and Sandy signed up for a race up there, and so we went there, and we went and signed. We signed up. We went and got our shirt, and just kind of saw the facility. It's like a boys' club or something. Went and saw the facility, and said, "Okay, we'll be back on race day." And so we came back this day. We're all ready to go run. We had our backpack with us. And I said, "Is there any lockers here we can store our stuff?" And the guy says, "Well, you're coming a little early, aren't you?" And we said, "No, we're here to run the race." And the guy said, "No, the race is tomorrow." We were flying out the next day. That morning.
Oh,
So we didn't even get to run. Yeah, it was crazy.
Aw.
But you got the T-shirt.
We got the T-shirt. Yeah. So I guess we could always say we didn't, but it was really crazy. But it's nice and cold up there. So I said, "Man, this is gonna be a good run," but it just didn't happen. But
It wasn't meant to be.
no, we did run in Central Park a little bit when we were up
Oh,
there.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. But no, I'm with you. I really want to go run a race somewhere else. I want to go out of town and run a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do, now this would be another challenge, but the marathon or a half marathon in Big Sur,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that would be epic.
I've had a friend who ran Big Sur.
I have a friend that lived out there and invited me to come, but I didn't go.
I had a friend who ran Big Sur, and he said it's amazing.
It
He
would
ran
be.
it several times, I think.
I've driven through there. We did a road trip a couple of years ago up the Pacific Coast Highway
Wow. Yeah.
from LA to San Francisco. And it is beautiful because we said driving through there, man, can you imagine running here? It was hilly though. It'd be brutal, but it'd be worth it.
It's
And
only
the-
22 miles, right? It's not a 26 one. It's 22, I
I think they have a half.
Yeah.
There may be
well,
a couple.
I think the full race is not a full marathon.
Right. It's
from
20,
what I understand.
think it's 22. something.
22.
Yep, yeah.
We could do that. Let's do it.
Sure, let's
Yeah.
do it. That sounds good. to
Sign
me.
us up.
Man, I've never been that far out west. I'd love to go.
Oh, you would love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that'd be a great trip.
It's beautiful. I want to go up further, like to Oregon, up the
Yeah,
Pacific
yeah,
Coast
yeah.
Highway.
Yeah, I've been up and down the East Coast, but I've never been out west.
My dad's from Los Angeles, so I guess that's why I've kind of connected.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I feel like I'm kind of part of I'm a little bit LA.
More
Just
LA than New York.
A little bitty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
that's
love
good.
New York. I could live in New York City.
Oh, it's funny. Me
I
and Sandy
love
said the
New
same
York.
thing. We've been multiple times, and every time we go, it's just like, oh my God, can you imagine just living here for a couple of years?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I would love it. Shannon would never have it. He's
Well,
not a,
yeah.
He's not a city.
Yeah. Mike-
He likes to visit, but
Mike Beeman's watching the show. Everybody say hello to Mike
hey,
Beeman.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Beeman.
And Charlie Mizell, he posted the link for the Charlie Strong 5K up in the
Awesome.
comments.
Great, thanks for that,
So
Charlie.
if anybody sees that, go ahead and click on that. I think I'm gonna sign up for that one too.
I need to do that. Yeah, I might ask a buddy to pace me on that.
I'm probably just gonna run it.
It's gonna be- yeah.
That's what I do.
I'm gonna try to
run.
run a decent time and see if I can do it. I don't know if I can, but
I don't know.
so-
What could you put up right now?
Oh my gosh, I'm
Y'all are
scared to
gonna
say.
put me to shame, so just go right ahead.
I'm scared to say. I think I could run a 24 right now.
Whoa.
I think. But we were you're faster than me, but I ran 21s before, but that's been years ago.
I remember when Steven Sparks had us running speed work. We got pretty fast.
Yeah, I think he just joined us, but yeah, he remember we were doing it and then he joined us, right?
Yeah.
Or is that how it went? I don't remember. It's been a couple of years.
Probably.
We got real crazy years ago, and we started doing speed work. We do it in the evenings. We'd meet on Thursday.
That's
Yeah.
good. I need to do. Beeman used to do speed work track workouts with us, and it helps.
We were killing ourselves. I mean, we
Yeah.
were just running as hard as we could run. I mean, we were running with parachutes and anything
Oh,
stupid thing
wow.
you could do, we were doing it. And Rob had his plan. It wasn't Hal Higdon, was it? It was it wasn't a Galloway. It was one of those guys though,
Uh-huh.
and we were following that plan. And man, I got a lot faster. I got a lot faster.
It
Yeah.
does make a
Yeah.
difference. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I ran my best. I ran a PR in the summertime on the 5K. Well, or I can't remember what race it was. Do you remember? Like,
It was
just pull out of
either
your head. Do you remember?
Labor Day or
It wasn't Labor Day. It was hot. I mean, it was hot.
Labor Day
I'd
can
have to
be
think.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're
That's
probably
what-
right. Yeah.
But I want to say it was one of the. It was one of the.
It was like an
ra-
April or something, May
Yeah.
or May race. I can't remember what it was. You run a PR. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, I got a picture.
I don't
somewhere.
remember what my PR is either.
Yeah.
I
But-
don't either. But I never remember. The
I know it's
technical
under.
stuff.
I know it's under 20. I remember the first time that I went under 20,
That's pretty amazing.
and
yeah.
it was at St. John's road race, and I was like, I look up and I see the clock and I said, "Wow."
Yeah, that's good. That's really.
I said
good.
I didn't think I could do it on that course because that course has a couple hills on it.
Yeah.
My fastest 5K is 29 minutes, and it was like just under 30, but that was my goal.
Well, you know what? The Independence Day 5K, I think I ran a 28, and
That's awesome to me.
it was hurting
Yeah.
because I hadn't run that fast in a long time. I just been running,
Yeah. And I could be totally wrong. I might run a 28 right now too. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to get really give it.
I
try
couldn't
it.
run a 28 right now.
I'll be honest with
29,
you.
30, even 30.
I hate the 5K distance. And I don't want to say I hate the 5K race because I enjoy getting out there with friends and everything, but I don't like 5Ks that much. I'd rather run longer distances
Mm-hmm.
because I'm one of those guys that I have to have a little bit of start time. I got to start out relatively slow, kind of get everything warmed up.
Well,
Then I feel like I can
sometimes
progressively get faster. But
A 5K, you feel like you're just getting started.
right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
get out there, and if you don't lay it down pretty quick in a 5K, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
I
get out
know
there
what you mean,
and get
yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Do you have any get butterflies or anything before a race? You get?
Oh, yeah.
See, I do too. I get real anxious before a
And
race.
weirdly so, I get more nervous at local races than
Yeah,
unless, and I really don't know why, but if I'm around a bunch of complete strangers, I'm not really that nervous.
Yeah.
I get super nervous.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I didn't think you did, but I do. I get real
Yeah.
anxious before I
do.
run. Yeah.
And I just even if I tell myself, I'm not even going to try today. I'm just going to go out there and just mosey through this thing. I'll still get nervous, even if I know I'm not running a PR and I'm not racing anybody. I
Yeah.
just get nervous.
It's
I don't
just
know why.
something, yeah.
I talked to another guy who's a great runner around here. I'm not going to say his name, Ryan, but he, but he told me he could relate to this. Or when you go out on a 5K sometimes and you get nowhere into it. I mean, you're like a half mile into it. You feel like you're going to die. You feel like you're already spent. Have you ever
Mhm.
felt that before?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You say,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I've started out too fast. I'm done. But it just kind of levels out.
Yeah.
But man, that's just the worst feeling in the world when you go out and you're like a half a mile in. You say, I'm done. I've ran as hard as I can run. I'm done.
Beeman taught me a huge lesson of not starting out too fast because I
Right,
used to
yeah.
do that horribly. I just give it all in the first mile, but he's like,
Yeah.
no, you got to start almost too slow. Like you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you're going too slow and just
That's what
glide
I'm trying to
into
tell
it.
myself on these runs, just these runs where I'm doing now, is I got to go as slower than I want to go. I
Yeah.
get out there.
So
and
you
you
can finish.
And Beeman said, if you're an 8-minute or an 8:30 mile runner, that you should be running a 10 or 11-minute pace now. I
Mhm.
think I'm quoting him right on that, but he said, you should be running significantly slower.
Mhm.
And that's something that's hard to do. But, in this kind of heat, you have got to slow it down, but it's super hard to do, because, I have to really consciously say, slow down, slow down,
Right.
slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Well, today we were running, and it didn't seem like we were running as slow as we were. But then looking back at the thing, we are like, wow, that was slow. But it was tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and, it had to be the humidity.
Oh, yeah.
But we
Humidity makes a difference.
because I was not sweating like I was running slow. I posted a picture on Strava, and you could see just beads of sweat coming.
Oh,
down.
yeah. I tell you, I got through today. I had to sit down. I had to go find a shady tree and sit down for a
Mhm.
few minutes. I was just like, man, I'm like dizzy.
Sometimes I'll go run in the morning before work, and I'll joke with the girls at work. I'm like, y'all, it's going to take me 3 hours to stop sweating, even though I've gone home, taken a shower,
Yeah,
gotten
yeah.
dressed.
You kinda
like,
get
I'm
that
gonna
second-
sweat for 3 hours.
Yeah, you're breaking
Oh,
that second sweat. you know?
Yes. Yeah.
When I'm usually if I try to get home and I'll sit on there's steps going up to my house, and I'll just sit there for however long it takes.
Yep. That's what I'll
but
do on
if,
the weekends.
but if I'm in a hurry, I have to go in,
Yep.
take a shower, and then I get
Yeah, yeah.
dressed, and I dry off, and then
And then you're sweating
I'm
again.
still sweating.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know why that is, but you've got that second round of sweat. I don't
Even
know
if
what
you
it
take
is.
a cold shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, I was driving up here. I ran basically right before I came up here. I went on. I did go in my shower, and I was coming up here.
Thanks.
And yeah,
We
I didn't want to
appreciate
do that.
that.
I didn't want to do that, y'all. But I was driving up here, and the back of my shirt was soaking wet. I had the air conditioner on in the car, but the back of my shirt was wet.
Yep. It's that residual sweat.
So what's next on your agenda? Do you have anything coming up? Any
Well,
goals out there?
the Peachtree coming up, and I want to get in good shape for that. I should have already been in shape since it was supposed to be this weekend, but I think just with all that, I
Yeah.
just kind of got off track, just keeping the base alive. But I also have a 12K in Fernandina, which is like 7.3, I believe. Anyway, 12K Fernandina, that's in October. Right now it's still on. Of course, it could get canceled. I had heard that all Florida races were canceled at one time. I don't know if they've opened them back up. The email is the Zuma Women's Run Club that puts on this one. And they're saying it's still on as of right now, but we'll see.
I know my sisters run a bunch of the Zuma races.
Oh, they're
and she
great.
enjoys them.
They're great, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're real. It's a good community, which I've never been in a running community that's not.
Right.
But
yeah.
that's what's on my agenda now, and then we'll see I don't have any big races, just the 10K and a 12K.
Okay. Well, that's more than I have on my agenda.
Same here. The only thing I've got lined up was that Donna, which has now been canceled, and I'm thinking about Jacksonville Bank if that's going to still go.
That's in December, right?
That in January, I think.
January.
Yeah, it used to
okay.
be in December.
Used to be in December, yeah. I need to remind Shannon of that one. Shannon, remember that one? Because he was going to do Donna again, but he's not going to do it virtual. It's hard to run a half marathon in Tifton.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I did the nurses
Even
run.
like training, and the nurses run. That was a good one. Yeah, because that took you out in the country and
That
stuff.
was a tough run for me though, because
Like-
I'm not crazy about straightaways. I like to run through neighborhoods, so I can't see my miles accumulating.
Right.
When I run that straightaway, and I look down the road and say, yeah, I can see for miles and miles and miles. It's just like it never ends. you know?
Yeah, it's
But everybody's
tough.
different. But
Yeah.
well, that's great. Any words of wisdom for anybody, or
Just keep at it. You can do hard things. Stay positive. That's the big thing. Just staying positive and keeping it real. Yeah.
it's always encouraging me when I look at your post and see what you've
Well,
been out
thank you.
doing and all. Yeah, it's,
Thank you.
like it's with everybody. You see what they're doing and what they've got going on. It makes you want to go down there and do it.
It does.
kinda touched on
I
that,
like
but
seeing all
yeah,
the
so-
Tifton runners, what they're up to. It inspires.
come run with us sometime. We'd love to have you. I know you. And that's fine if you don't. But if you ever want to come out and just do something different.
I said, I've never, which one I invite people over. I said, never, you're going to slow us down because we're going to run, with talking about Beeman, he talks about, just slow it down. And you slow it down. A lot of times we need to slow it down. We were running with a friend the other day, and she's like, well, I thought we were running fast because I didn't want to slow y'all down. I'm like, we're ready to slow down. You do not have to tell us that,
Yeah. She was moving along pretty good, I thought.
Yeah. So, it's okay to slow down. And, people enjoy that. People enjoy other people's companies. Just having somebody new in the group and be like, hey, there's somebody new here. Let's, talk it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely. Who do we have next week?
Rob, I'm not sure. We got a bunch of people out there. Was it a coach by chance? Or was
I'm
he
not
coming
sure.
up?
I think Rhonda.
Rhonda,
I think
okay,
Rhonda's
Rhonda,
coming
okay.
in, a dietitian. So
Oh, cool.
I think she's coming in next week, and maybe she can help me. Maybe I can drop in a couple more pounds. I'm really trying.
I'll be watching.
This is like this week. I've hit it hard.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I can tell. Yeah,
I
you're
talked
looking
to
good.
my cousin.
Yeah.
He's given me a vision.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't do anything crazy. Just cut back a little bit."
That's the thing. You don't have to do crazy.
Because I asked him,
Right.
I'm
You
like,
don't have to do crazy.
because I was asked, I came up, I said, could I have abs in 90 days? And he said, sure.
Sure you can.
And
Yeah.
so I said,
In 90 days?
yeah. He told me it could.
Yeah.
Or he said 3 months. He said, good. And so I said, would you recommend me do anything drastic? Cutting out this and cutting out. And he said, no. He said, just portion. He said, calories in, calories out, cut your calories.
Yep.
He said, I was like, do you count your macros? He's like, no, I don't count my macros. I just know that I want to eat more vegetables and protein than
Exactly.
I do, like hardcore
Yeah.
carbs. He's like, I don't eat a lot of bread. I do eat sweet potatoes. I do eat potatoes. I do eat, get my carbs from other places. But he says, just cut most of them out during dinner. And then he's like, he's even like during the weekend, he's like, I really don't do much during the weekend as far as dieting. If my kids want to order a pizza, I'll eat some pizza.
Yeah.
but during the week, he's pretty strict.
You got to have the freedom to do that, I think.
Yeah, if you start depriving yourself totally, then you're just going to get
I mean, it's such a bummer.
irritated.
It would seem like it'd be such a bummer. You just couldn't
Yeah.
go on, you know.
right.
Because
It's
I'm
not realistic.
Fortunately for me, I'm not a sweets guy. I don't really like. I don't eat cake. I don't eat cookies and muffins or anything like that. But I do like. I
eat
will
your
eat like.
share.
But I do like hard candy, and I will eat a popsicle. You know, so there's certain things I'll
Well,
eat. But
you know what we've been doing, which if you watch my Strava, you'll see pictures. We've come up with a new Friday tradition. Me and my brother-in-law and Ben Davis, who run with me a lot on Fridays, because Fridays is kind of hard to get up. So we have to kind of convince ourselves to get up on Fridays, because Fridays you're already just ready for the weekend, which I run on the weekends too. I just run a little bit later. And so there is a new donut store that's opened up in Valdosta. It's called Holt's Sweet Shop.
Is it the same Holtz that's in Fitzgerald and Douglas?
Douglas. And
So
they
I don't
have
know.
one at Waycross. And they make donuts, they make cakes, they make cookies, they make everything. And I tell you what, they're delicious. They're delicious. So on Friday, the donut shop is 1.75 miles, 1.74 miles from my house. So we run.
seems like he knows how to get there.
Yeah. So we run to the donut shop on Fridays, and we get a donut, and we eat the donut, and then we run home. And that's our way of, kind of just
you burn it off.
motivated to get up on Fridays. We run, we have a little sweet, and then we come back.
So everybody's in on this. All
Yeah,
the other two guys.
yeah.
So, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Of course, I'm not going to say if you catch them run, they will run with boxes home. I don't run with boxes home. They say they're giving them to their children, but I don't know. I haven't seen it. But me, I just eat my one donut. Actually, this weekend I split it with the dog, because the dog was looking at me like, "Where's my
mine?"
donut?"
Oh,
And so I cut the donut in half and gave some to the dog. But that is our new Friday tradition,
that's cool.
and
That's
it is-
cool. Yeah.
and it's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Stephanie, if you could throw caution to the wind, what's your favorite thing to eat? Just, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna eat it. I love it.
A favorite thing? Oh gosh, sweets, cake,
Yeah. So,
cupcakes.
you're a sweet eater.
Well,
carrot cake is my favorite.
Holtz has cakes for $17.95, and they look delicious.
There's a little bakery.
But I'm
in
not going to
Tifton.
tell you that where it is on North Ashley Street, where the Moe's used to be. At 5 Points.
We have a lot of
They're probably
subliminal
closed
messages.
by
We have a
now.
lot of subliminal messages in
I
this.
see that. I'm catching them all.
I want Holtz. I've had this idea of doing, because they do what they call a beer mile, which is you drink a beer every quarter mile.
I've heard of
Donut.
that.
And
yeah.
I don't drink beer, so I
Yeah,
would not be
yeah,
good
that
at
would-
get a beer mile. A donut mile, where we do a donut every time we go
I'll
around the
legit
track.
come run that.
So I'm gonna talk with the people at Holtz, if they're listening, if somebody wants to tag them in this show, if we could have a donut mile, and we could do it right in their parking lot, because it's at 5 Points and there's a big parking lot.
Just run around the parking lot?
I've already thought this through. So
He's
it's
got a
big enough for
plan.
a track, and it's big enough for parking. Maybe after Corona, the Holtz donut mile. I'm gonna talk with them about
Something
that.
to think about. Something to think about.
There is a Krispy Kreme run in North Carolina. Have you ever?
Yeah, I've seen Krispy Kreme runs where you run out and you eat
A dozen.
a dozen and come back.
Yeah.
That's a little much. A dozen would not set well for me, but I could do 4 easy.
Oh goodness. So what's your day look like going forward? You drove all the way to Valdosta to talk to us. What's your evening look like?
I will head home and maybe go do a couple miles and then have dinner with my husband. And we usually just chill in the evenings,
Yeah.
because we've worked
Yeah.
all day, and maybe we like to watch crime TV shows. Like,
Yeah, we do too. My wife watches that ID TV all
yes.
the time. So
Oh my goodness.
you
yeah.
never realize that so many spouses kill each other. you
Oh
know.
my word.
Isn't it
That's a
amazing?
whole another
Yeah.
topic we could talk
Lord.
about for.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Let me see what I've watched lately. I watched Hamilton this weekend.
Yes,
Oh
we
man, I
did
would love to
too.
see that.
It's on Disney Plus.
See, I don't have Disney Plus. I need to get
Just
that.
download it for that. It's worth it.
Yeah. I'd love
I
to see
mean,
it.
I think it's, if you pay up front, it's not very
It's not that
expensive.
bad. Yeah.
but you know,
Well-
it's a lot cheaper than Hamilton tickets.
Yeah, to have seen that on Broadway for the first run would have been amazing. And, you know, we looked at tickets for that, but there's no way. you
I
know.
actually got to see it in Atlanta at the Fox Theater. Me and a good
Wow,
friend of mine.
what a
we
great
went
experience!
to-
Yeah,
I had
the
tickets.
Fox is a great theater.
I had
yeah.
tickets to the
Yes.
one in Jacksonville, but it got canceled, and so supposedly it's rescheduled for 2021. So maybe I'll.
Graham,
hold on to those
Graham's
tickets.
friend gave him tickets, so yeah, I think he had Jacksonville tickets too. But of
My
course it was
brother and
canceled.
his family was supposed to go,
But-
and I think they've at the Fox for this year, but they're going to go next year.
So y'all highly recommend.
Oh,
Hamilton.
definitely, yes.
yeah.
And having seen it on stage, which was amazing, because that's just an amazing, just perfection, you know, just all of it. It's genius. But seeing it on the TV screen too, it was just as good and almost even a little better because you could see their facial expressions. You know, we had the cheap seats that were still not cheap, so you can't see people's facial expressions, you know, in theater, but watching it on TV, it just gave it a whole new level of
I bet.
meaning, seeing their facial expressions. But that is one heck of a show. Yeah.
Yeah,
All the way around.
definitely recommend. But
Have we reached that time?
we
Are we
have
done?
reached that time.
Wow, it's
We
been
don't want
fun.
to keep anybody
Yeah.
too late.
Thank
but
y'all for having me.
it
It's
was
been
wonderful.
great. Thank you for coming. We enjoyed it. We certainly
Thank
did.
you. You know,
It's always great talking to you.
Thank you. You too. Good to meet
140
you.
pounds. That's quite a feat. And
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
to keep it off for over 10 years.
Well, I've only kept like 100 on.
Oh, just 100.
Just 100. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
100.
Well, sometimes I get ashamed of myself because I've put some back on, but it's
Well, you know what?
It's-
It
I-
comes and it goes. It's long.
a
But
lifetime.
you're probably a lot more active, even if you've put back on weight.
Oh,
You're
yes.
a ton more active
Definitely.
than you were before, and that's what I try to tell myself. Is like, you know, because I'll be up to 235, and then I went down to 217. Well, I stayed at 190 for a long time, for many years, and then I went back up to 215. I'm like, well, I'm still active,
Right.
and I'm not as big as I once was.
I still feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel great. You know,
Yeah.
even at a little over 200 pounds, I still feel great. You know,
You're doing
so
great. You are.
Thank you.
So-
yeah. Get back
so-
into Peachtree shape so we can go do that. I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yes. Yep.
So-
We'll find you like always. I think a couple of years we've taken pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. We usually run into each other, you know, at the beginning of the race or
Yeah.
down in the hotel lobby or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And you know, I'm sure that you know the Peachtree, the Sunbelt guys, we always get together. Guys and
Right.
ladies get together
Yeah.
before the race.
Hopefully, all the Tifton people can do it.
I hope
Thanksgiving.
so. Yeah, something to look forward to.
Yes. And then we're all going to my brother's house.
He's
already
he's
said it.
already invited us.
Wow, yeah.
Sorry,
Two new
Greg.
faces this year.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Catch us on every Monday on YouTube, Facebook, and then catch us later on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, your, I guess, podcast platform of choice. So,
Hey, Rob, we need to get everybody to like us on Facebook.
like us on Facebook.
Like us on the Facebook, yeah.
Share and like us. Share and like us.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, we try to bring decent content. I don't know if it's any good, but it's
Oh,
decent.
That's awesome. Well, our guests are what bring it to us. You know,
And
Stephanie's
so
been great.
we do have the best guest in South Georgia running podcasts.
Absolutely, yeah. Every week we just you know I'm having such a good time. You know, having everybody on and having you today. It's
I've
been such a
enjoyed
good
watching them
experience.
so far.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate
Y'all are
that.
doing a great job.
So, anything else?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, have fun. Run some
Take
miles
care.
this week. We will do our best to run our miles this week.
Get 'em
and
done.
we'll see you next week. All righty. Have a great one.